What are you... What the hell are you doing?
Well, I noticed there was some kind of energy coming off this. It's not quite heat exactly, but I thought we might as well see what we can do with it.
What would you...
Look. Awesome.
Well, I'll be darned.
I know. Do you want some?
All right. Okay, yeah, I'll give it a try.
There you go. Nom, 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 nom.
What? No butter?
Lactose intolerant, mate.
Yeah, but butter?
It's got void energy on it. Isn't that topping enough?
Let's find out then, eh?
Oh.
Maybe movies.
Hello, you have to excuse us. You've caught us at, I was going to say 11's, but we haven't got tiffin. So it's tea time.
Tea time, mate.
Theatre, man.
Theatre, mate.
Mr. Tea Time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Maybe Movies.
Hello.
You know who I am, you know who he is.
You do.
Thank you for joining us again, and again, thank you for everyone for checking out last week's show. And also, thank you to Reading Movies.
Oh.
Who was the only one who, in the comments, put a suggestion in for which of the two movies we should do.
Oh, well, thank you for that. We needed the help. We did.
So we will be looking at Flash Gordon in, we're looking at Indy and Flash Gordon.
Oh, right,
Or do we
okay.
want to do, well, he said Flash Gordon, but I wasn't sure whether he meant Flash Gordon as in the movie or Flash Gordon as in the character. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to ask him. So we're kind of back where we were. Either way, because you did suggest it, thank you. We will do a shout out for Reading Movies, which is a brilliant channel. I think it's been going about 6-7 months now.
Oh, right.
And what he does is he presents the different novelizations of novel tie-ins.
You've mentioned him before, of course
Yes.
you have. Yes, I remember. Oh, good job, sir, good job.
Yeah.
And thank you for the input.
Definitely. But do check out his channel. It's really, really interesting. And again, as a lot of channels, he's been showing a lot of evolution in what he does and how he does things. Throwing in a lot of little extra snippets and fun stuff.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
That's what he said, not me.
Oh, come on,
For a change.
just left me such an opening. I had to take it.
You keep your openings to yourself, sir.
All right, I'll take them home with me. Thank you. Goodbye.
Let's move on very, very rapidly. So what are we doing then? So should we do Flash Gordon as in the film, as our new version of the film, or Flash Gordon in...
It feels like that's the film.
It does, doesn't it? So
So that's
Indy
Indy
and Willie in Flash Gordon.
in Flash Gordon.
Fantastic. It did actually make me think when I was looking at...
Oh, God, I just realised there's a small problem with what I said last week.
What's that?
About how we need to leave Short Round and Zarkov in their respective movies. Short Round is in the opening of the movie, so we need to lose Short Round at the beginning of Indy so he can be in the other movie, if you know what I mean. Or do we just remove him entirely and have another character driving the car?
So we can either make it so David Yip doesn't get shot,
And he drives the car.
and he drives the car, or it could just simply be as they jump into a cab and they say step on it.
There's this really good implied history with David Yip's character.
There is.
So I think he should be the one.
Yeah.
And that solves the problem straight away. Brilliant.
It does.
Thank you.
It did make me think also while I was looking at this earlier, when we were looking at Flash, because I always forget that's a Dino De Laurentiis film. So maybe at some point we should do a Dino De Laurentiis double bill.
Oh, there are so many options.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the obvious one that I will always go to first off is Conan.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
Conan and Conan and the Beastmaster.
Oh.
I have my eyes.
Oh, that could... Yeah.
What do you think, folks? Vote on it in the comments.
Yeah, do, please. Or if you have another one of his films that you think might work as well, again, suggestions always welcome.
But yes, we should.
Yeah.
We should.
Let's do
Let's
this.
do this funky thing.
We are in 1935. So obviously we have no NASA, because NASA doesn't exist until 1958. Just in terms of Zarkov's backstory, but that's fine, as we said.
Yes,
he's
but you do have rocket scientists.
You do, and that was the thing, as we said last week.
Yeah.
Nazis are after him, he's gone into hiding, so they can't get hold of him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As we said, the first 10-15 minutes of the film is going to be identical to a Temple of Doom.
We get the opening number, anything goes, the face-off, Dr. Jones gets poisoned, there's a chaotic fight in the club, and there's an amazing car chase that is not driven by Short Round, but by... We didn't get a name for David Yip's character, or am I being really wrong?
I think he does say it, but it's so quick you can't catch it. I haven't had time to check the credits, so I don't know.
You're right. But nevertheless, David Yip's character leads the really quite entertaining, although quite short, car chase through the streets of, is it Shanghai?
Shanghai.
Onto the airfields. We get our little brief cameo from Dan Aykroyd as they rush onto the thing.
Onto Lao Chi's plane.
They catch their ride and head out of China.
So I think what we need to do then with this bit is, certainly when we get to the point where they get to the airport, we should be seeing strange clouds in the sky. Because the stuff that has been going on for some time, hasn't it?
Or maybe even the hot hail.
Yeah, that would work. That would be actually...
Like, just as they arrive at the airfield, the hot hail starts to come down.
I mean, we could even drop that in a little bit earlier, so you've got people darting around on the streets as the hail's hitting the buildings and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
setting
nice.
stuff on fire.
Yes, you get lots of little
Like
set pieces.
Yeah, and just chaos going on. That's really cool. When we get onto the plane, so are we saying David Yip stays behind, or is he actually still going to die, but just he dies in the plane?
I think we give him his death, but it's just as they arrive. Either just as or just after they arrive at the airfield. As they're leaping out of the car, he's starting to climb out, he takes a hit to the chest, dies in Indy's arms, much as he does.
Yes, and then they nip through and jump onto the plane.
Which is, of course, one of Lau's planes.
Yes.
So we know they're in trouble.
Now the question here is do we have, are they going to be killed by the presence of Ming, or are they killed, or do they get away like they do in Indy?
The story sort of demands that they're killed by Ming, surely, just because it's the movie we're in.
It would make more sense. I mean, we can still have them planning to bail out.
I don't care what you think.
You don't get a vote. Sorry. So we still get the bit where... I know what it is. They're supposed to take them a certain amount of distance before they jump out.
Yes, they are.
But before they get there, things are getting hairy. So they think, screw it, we'll dump the fuel now. So they're going to, as if they're going to bail out early. And then they get hit. So you still lose the fuel.
So that's, even if Indy can get control of the plane, they've got no fuel, they're going to crash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which then we cut to Zarkov, which is...
Zarkov and Munson and their little discussion.
I did make a note, and again, don't have to, but just as a question, as a possibility.
Which, by the way, I always hear as Bunsen. So I'm half expected to hear me.
Fantastic. I did wonder, do we want to make Munson a Nazi spy? And he's been working with him until he finishes the rocket?
Oh, that works better. In context of what we're doing. Yes.
So I just thought you could have a moment there where, when he wakes up, because obviously we're going to have to replace a certain amount of the equipment because you're not going to have computers and stuff like that. When he jumps up, he's got the gun on Zarkov, and then you could even have a small squad of stormtroopers come in, German stormtroopers come in, so they all get killed when the plane crashes.
That's much. By the way, I noticed this watching earlier on. The film begins with a crash that ends up smushing someone, and it ends with a crash that ends up smushing someone.
Yeah.
And if you think about it further, there are other scenes that are mirrored throughout the story. When Dale is first being prepared to be his consort and getting the girl drunk, and then again later when she's being prepared for her wedding and she has the fight with Aura, they're both in a similar place, they're dressed in similar fashions, and there are similar interactions.
True, yeah, there is that kind of cyclic nature to it, definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of more mirroring than I realised before in that.
The only thing that, again, is not quite the same, that I did notice that both of these films have a scene featuring spikes.
Oh yes, so they do. Good call. Right, okay, so this is where it starts to deviate.
Yes, I'm imagining then the rocket is going to be a lot more steampunk. I know we're not quite there yet, but just because we see it in the background, don't we?
Well, these serials were written in the 30s and the 40s.
Oh, yes, they're supposed to be futuristic, aren't they? Yeah.
I think we can because movie this quite a little bit.
Yes, we can. Yeah, absolutely. And again, because this is going to be a film made in the 80s but set in that period, they will make it look appropriate. We're going to get a lot more shouting and screaming from Willie as the plane comes in.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course, yes. So much screaming.
So we've got this standoff between Zarkov and Munson with his stormtroopers, and then probably one of them comes rushing in, as the plane comes in, the wheels get to the landing.
Everybody charges forward, but ultimately goes smush.
Yeah.
And becomes a little red smear on the side of the plane.
Especially this one, because this has got massive propeller at the front.
Oh, yeah, God, yeah.
Are we saying then that Indy would at least have heard of Professor Zarkov?
Yes, but he's a physicist. He's an archaeologist. This 50-50. Do we want him to?
It's far more likely because obviously Dale recognises him in Flash.
And Willie's not the sort who would know anything about that sort of thing. So, yes, Indy should have heard of him.
Yeah.
Yes, so we have that.
I mean, this would be a perfect place to drop in this whole setup because the audience is going to be going, I suppose we could have a point of exposition from Munson. No, now that you've finished your rocket, we'll be taking over. We've been secretly funding you this whole time or something. If we don't get that, then there's a moment there for 2 seconds for Zarkov to say, this is why I'm stuck out in the middle of nowhere, is because I've been trying to avoid them. I suppose there won't be a request for a telephone, because they don't...
Why not? Telephones existed in, 1890.
Yeah, but they're pretty remote.
This is 1936.
I'm imagining they're quite remote. I don't know if they'd have a phone that far out. It may just be, you need to clean up. Come in here.
Or a radio, then.
A radio, yes, of course.
Make it a radio.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there's a radio just in here.
Just in here. Yeah, exactly. So we get the same setup.
Mm-hmm.
Indy's already lost his gun.
Yes, because he loses it, doesn't he?
He loses it in the fight in the bar,
He loses it in the fight because he gives it to Willie and she drops it out of the car.
That's right. So Indy's already lost his gun, so he goes to grab his gun, can't.
Not there, yep.
Fist fight ensues.
Yeah, possibly has a... Yes, exactly, in the rocket. As it happens, Zarkov knocks the button, the door closes, and we're off!
Into the void, we've got a long extended sequence.
Yes.
With Indy and Willie kind of unconsciously bonding and shit.
Do you think we would get more closeness and intimacy between Willie and Indy so early, considering how frosty she is with him up until later in the film? I know
it's up to us, but of course I'm just going along with the scene as it's portrayed in Flash Gordon, where just they're unconscious and there's that whole extended sequence of them drifting through the void and slowly,
she grabs his hand.
His hand and those little things.
Oh yeah, sorry, that bit I agree with. It's when they wake up, I was thinking more.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that's like, she's instantly Dale. Mm-hmm. She's not instantly Dale. But there's that little bit of bonding in their unconsciousness, that does make sense.
But then we land
on Mongo, and then captured.
I did wonder if we just get lots of screaming from Willie and they stun her, just to shut her up.
So we'd get something not dissimilar to when Flash gets out of the capsule. There's that attempt at greeting and understanding.
Hi.
And he gets grabbed and flipped, and as soon as he gets grabbed, that's when Willie starts screaming.
Yes.
And then probably one of the gloves punches her out.
Yeah. Poof, and you just see her fall back into the thing. Okay, so if you wanted to make it a comedic moment, that happens. She gets punched, she drops into the thing, and then you hear Zarkov go, "Ow!" from inside the capsule. Fantastic. And then we move very quickly to...
There's the escort. Zarkov loses the gun.
I was going to say, do we have a bit of a moment from Indy with the lizard man? It's a snake with legs and arms. Because it looks like a snake.
I can imagine him shuddering at the very least. Yeah. The bit where it's going to go different is the bit that I have marked down as egg fight.
Yes. So we're happy that all of the stuff with Ming and the ring and Willie is going to be the same.
Yeah, I mean, he might not say that this Ming's a psycho. He might say he seems to be some sort of tyrant, or something like that. But, then the droid would go, this Ming's a tyrant. Mm-hmm. Bring them forward, and then, like you say, all that stuff
with the ring with her. Which, again, might get a little bit different. I mean, I know we said before, obviously, that Dale is, she's very agile. Willie is a singer and a dancer.
Yes.
So, again, that would feed into her reaction to the ring.
Right. Oh, okay, yeah.
But I did also wonder, up until this point as well, if we want to feed into those moments in Temple of Doom where Willie's a bit of a gold digger when it comes to, this Maharaja maybe just hasn't met the right woman yet. He's an emperor.
Emperor, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Which also does bring up a point in that film, which is very easily glossed over. Oh yes, have you ever seen such a reaction? Even surpasses your daughter?
Oh no, I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that. It's so creepy. You tested her, did you? You creepy motherfucker.
Anyway, sorry, it was a more innocent time.
It was so innocent, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
so
yes,
innocent.
that's our defence. No, sorry.
But getting back to the egg fight, that's not going to go the same way.
No, it's not. And I'm a little bit stuck on how that's going to work.
I'm not convinced that the droid's going to take Indy's whip away from him, so I think Indy's going to have his whip going into this. Because Indy's not going to go, oh, it's okay, I've got my whip. Just like Zarkov goes, it's okay, I've got my gun.
But you see, I did wonder if at some point they might take that away, because they obviously have whips, which I thought might again heighten the peril, or the threat, if you like. Because if Indy doesn't have his whip, he doesn't have that as his main thing, which when he gets the whip later on at the end of Act 2, in the fight with Baron...
Oh, yeah, absolutely, but I'm talking about this scene here.
It's just they would know it, because obviously they have whips in that thing, they would know that it's a weapon, they might take it because it's hanging off his
Do
belt.
they take away Voltan's club?
But he's the Prince of Mongo.
I'm saying because movie.
I agree, to save problems, because otherwise that
Because
fight's going
Indy
to go...
doesn't have much of a chance otherwise. He hasn't
gained tactics to fall back on, no.
No, he hasn't. He's got a couple of skills that he's really good at.
And one of them normally involves him using his whip.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, no, I'm happy with that. But again, this is obviously, and this would be the point where he loses it until he picks up one later on in the film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree.
Because we're making this movie, we can cheek it that there is stuff hanging down from the ceiling that you can use to swing into people from.
Oh yeah, we can because movie quite a bit. Once we've done that. But also, I mean, just the whips they've got are cat o' nine tails style whips.
Yes.
Whereas he's got a bullwhip.
He's got bullwhip, yeah.
Which is like a 20-foot reach.
Yes.
It's significantly larger than their whips.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they do know about whips, they don't know about this kind of
That's
whip.
the style of whip. Yeah, true. Actually, yes. That is very true.
Oh, thank
no,
you.
No, it's a point well made. There is a difference.
I'll take that.
If we don't want to go with the thing where it's accidentally Zarkov fumbles and hits him with something because we haven't got the thing with the eggs, maybe something like he throws the whip around something to go and swing into somebody, and as he's doing it, Klytus gets one of his guards to shoot what is their whip is hanging off, and he drops down and they just dogpile him.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, like that. Nice image. And Zarkov goes, ooh.
Do we want to do a thing, because again, how this is going to play out, where when all of this happens, one of them probably Willie just picks up his hat, and so that we've still got the hat for later, because the hat is a thing.
Right, okay.
It's part of the character, because it's unlikely he's going to get that back.
No.
In the way that this is going to go going forward.
No. Aura takes it.
Of course she does.
As a trophy.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Because
God damn it!
Oh, thank you.
No, that's classic. That's perfect.
Okay, so we're getting there. So we've got through the fight. We've got the scene with Aura and Baron about see me tomorrow or whatever.
Bringing you a surprise, whatever.
We've got the bit with what would be the bit with Indy and Willie. Now,
that's the only thing I had a problem with, because Indy's a lot more stoic than Flash is.
I was thinking that this isn't going to be a gushing confession of love. This is going to be Indy going, "Don't worry, I'll figure something out."
Yeah, I was thinking that it possibly even that isn't that he asked specifically to see her. He just says, "How are my friends?" Oh, I thought you might ask that. And they bring her in, because obviously Zarkov's off being conditioned.
Yeah.
So he just brings her in on spec. I thought you'd ask something tiresome like that.
Well, I mean, if you think about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, they bond within about 2 days anyway.
True.
It's not that far off. It's just they're not as true love-ish as they are in Flash Gordon.
Yeah, and I suppose the difference here is as well is that this is a, relatively speaking, a far more extreme situation than what they go into in Temple of Doom.
Yes.
They're on another fucking planet.
So I think he would. I think
maybe we should have a little comment from Indy when he gets to see the dungeon that he's in, like comparing it to places that he's visited on Earth. How very medieval of you. Oh, haven't you got an Iron Maiden? What's one of them? Should we get one?
Oh, yes, I can imagine Clyde. An Iron Maiden? What is that? Should we acquire one? Come with me, take notes.
It's a shame we have to kill you so soon.
Yes, yeah, I like it.
But then, as we say, we get the execution, which runs through with the Doctor and everything.
Yes, and that's the end of our act.
Very quick, but then again, it was always going to be, because the first sort of 10-15 minutes of the film is
on rails. Yeah. There are certain parts of this that are on rails. There are things going on behind Indy's back, that he doesn't have any control over.
Exactly. Fantastic. Okay, well, so far so good.
Yes, so that's Act 1 out of the way.
Hooray!
Woot!
It's still all cosmic. I'm getting traces. It's amazing. Anyway, thank you again for joining us. We will be back on Friday with Act 2 of, what was it, Indiana Jones and the Master of the Universe? Conqueror of the Universe. Until then, have a great Thursday, and we will see you on Friday.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.